Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline, and today we're going to discuss some human pregnancy and ovulation Mandela effects. So, how many months is a woman pregnant for, and how many eggs does she release per month when she's fertile? I think you'll find the answers will surprise you. Okay, so let's go over a few things I've noticed recently. First of all, when researching this subject, I noticed this. Women may be making new eggs throughout their lives. Now, I think we've heard this. I've heard this for the last 10 years or so. But here's where it gets kind of weird, because I just heard originally that we had a set number of eggs and we'd release one per month. And then later they said, oh, no, maybe you make new eggs. Okay, so that was the first change. But now I'm reading this and it says, it is usually reported that a woman has 7 million immature eggs when she is in her mother's womb, and that this number drops to 700,000 by the time she reaches puberty. Okay, now obviously that's going to be more than 1 or 2 eggs a month, a lot more. And this is where it really gets confusing. It is usually reported, blah, blah, blah. I have never heard that reported ever. Recent research has turned this theory on its head. Scientists have discovered a new type of stem cell in the human ovary that may point to the possibility of new eggs continually being formed throughout a woman's reproductive years. Okay, so that's more like what I've been hearing the last 10 years. But what's weird now is that they're saying that we only ovulate 1 or 2 eggs, but we produce a bunch of eggs every month. Okay, so most eggs are present within the ovary in an immature state from the time of a woman's menarche. Some eggs will lie dormant for years or even decades. For eggs to complete their ovulation, they receive a signal to begin final maturation. At the beginning of any given cycle, there are generally about 12 eggs that have started to grow. And as ovulation nears, preference is given to one of those eggs as it receives the final push to maturity and then released from the ovary. So this is what's new for me, this 12 eggs growing thing. Now, we used to just have already completed eggs in the area, and then one of them was released. Now they're saying they're kind of all growing. A bunch of them are growing, and then one is chosen and released, and the others die. So that's totally new for me. So, another thing that they're talking about here is that the egg is actually picky and has an influence on which sperms are allowed to reach it. They're kind of vague here, but that kind of storyline has been sort of growing lately, and that's also a little bit new. Here's one other thing. Multiple ovulation is more common than you think. They're saying that 10% of all cycles, women release 2 or more eggs. So that means that the chances of twins are a lot higher than I recall, and I think we might be seeing more twins in the future. But anyway, let's talk about this egg release thing. How many eggs do women lose every month? Now, I, of course, would want to say 1 or maybe 2, but now the answer is much different. So they're saying 15 to 20 follicles are activated, but when they don't mature, they get reabsorbed. This process is called atresia. I have never heard of atresia. I mean, as a female, we of course studied the reproductive process many times, and this is totally new for me. So now they're saying that we have these 15 to 20 follicles that kind of mature the eggs, and then one of them is chosen, and the other follicles die. And also, doctors estimate that we lose up to 1,000 additional follicles each month thanks to natural cell death. So that's saying that we're losing up to 1,021 eggs lost each month. So that explains why we have to have so many eggs to start with. It's the lost number of the number lost each month accelerates as you age. Okay, so that's really different for me. In my old timeline, they originally said we had a set number of eggs. We released 1 egg. There wasn't all this follicles making all these different eggs and then reabsorbing them and all that. That's totally different for me. Okay, so what got me started on this? I started researching this whole pregnancy thing because of this particular post on Retcon by Worldwide Gecko. Mandela Effect, or am I just losing it? Okay, so this person is talking about how they remember the human gestational period being 9 months, and that is very, very much how I remember it. But apparently, a lot of locations are saying it's 10 months. Now, I seem to recall this Mandela Effect discussed not too long ago. I think it was on YouTube. Kind of unclear on it. But I did some research, and the only one that I could find was an older one on Mandela Effect Reddit, and this is the one from let's see, what date is this? A year ago. Since when is pregnancy 10 months? It's always been 9 months, and that's all we've ever known. Who are these Universe B babies that need 10 months? Okay, and this was posted by Phi Weaver. Okay, so then I was reading the comments, and this one caught my attention right away. Pregnancy is 40 weeks, 10 months long because you start counting it from the last day of your period. Okay, I've never heard of counting your gestational period from the last day of your period. You aren't actually pregnant until the second or third week, which is why it's 9 months, but technically 10. Okay, that whole thing is super confusing. First of all, when I really looked into it, they're saying that you start counting it from the first day of your period, not the last day. So she is incorrect there. And then this part here, 40 weeks, 10 months. Okay, 40 weeks is not actually 10 months, and I'll calculate that later. But this keeps coming up, 40 weeks, 10 months. This is weird. Now, I do remember, I'm pretty sure I remember 40 weeks being the magical number. 40 weeks is 9 months. That's what I remember. 40 weeks is not 10 months. Okay. So let's go into this a little bit more. And what I found was everywhere I go, they're kind of saying something different, and they all have parts that don't make sense. So, how long is your pregnancy? Most doctors will simply count from the first day of your last period. Okay, never heard of that. If you have a regular period at an average length, that day is usually about 2 weeks before conception, which is why pregnancies are said to last 40 weeks. 40 weeks, near 10 months than the 9 months we usually refer to. Okay, so there's the 40 weeks that I remember, but they're saying that this 40 weeks starts at the first day of your last pregnancy. I remember that 40 weeks as starting at the approximate time of your gestation. So you would guess approximately when you got pregnant. And that would be the 40 weeks. But now they're saying the 40 weeks starts a couple weeks earlier, and they're counting from the first day of your period. That's totally different. Okay, and then here again, 40 weeks, 10 months. That's not right. 40 weeks is not 10 months. Okay, and then here they say doctors will add 280 days from conception, 40 weeks. No, that would be 280 days from the first day of your period equals 40 weeks. Conception would be 2 weeks later. So this sentence here is wrong. Almost every website I go to has some kind of a wrong statement in it. Okay, so why they say pregnancy 10 months. Full-term pregnancy is calculated at being 40 weeks, which is 10 months. No, 40 weeks is not 10 months. There it is again. However, your gestational weeks are only 38 weeks. You are not pregnant for the first 2 weeks of those are the weeks that you are during your cycle and fertilization. Okay, that seems to be the standard thing we're getting, okay? 40 weeks starting from the first day of your period, or 38 weeks actually pregnant. But then they keep coming up with 10 months, and I'll tell you why this is confusing the hell out of me. All right. Let's go to the calendar. As you can see, the average month is longer than 4 weeks. Okay, there's extra days on the month. All right, so how many months is 40 weeks? How many months is 38 weeks? All right, so let's pick the longest that they're using. They're using the 40 weeks, which is supposed to be the first day of your last period. Is that 10 months? All right, so let's say you got your first day of your last period was on the 1st of January 2008. So let's count the weeks. We're going to go up to 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Scroll down a little bit. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Okay, so 40 weeks, if you had the first day of your last period was on the first of the year, then you would expect your delivery to be Columbus Day, October 8th. All right, how many months is that? That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months and 1 week. So at 40 weeks, it's 9 months and 1 week. That would be 9 months, not 10 months. Why is everybody saying 10 months? Even at 40 weeks, it's 9 months and 1 week, and you would just round that to 9 months. That would make sense. However, they're also counting this gestational months. Now, for my reality, my timeline, 40 weeks was gestational weeks. There was no counting from the first day of your last period. You would guess your gestation, which you would guess would be a few weeks after your period, and then you would go from there. Okay, so if it's 38 weeks, then we go back 2 weeks, not the first, be the 24th. That would be 8 months and about 1, 2, 3 weeks. 8 months and 3 weeks. Okay, so a week shy of 9 months. So now I'm wondering if maybe our actual gestational period is a week less than it used to be. The 10 months thing is a big confuser. It makes it sound like it's gotten longer, but I think we may have actually lost a week, the reverse. And apparently everybody in this timeline can't count months. So this whole 10 months thing is a total trip. And this whole thing is making my brain fry, so I apologize if I didn't explain it well. But anyway, there is my argument for how our human gestational period is actually shorter than it used to be. And we also have a lot more eggs than we used to. And also, it may be that we will have a lot more twins born in the future. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.